How's it? I can't even change my intro. It's just too iconic. So let me try and do it again. How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to another live stream this preseason. Hope you guys are all doing well, whether it be morning, night, or afternoon. Thanks for joining us live here. Today we got a little bit of an interesting live stream for you. We're going to start by doing a little bit of a Q&A, and then we're going to jump into my first FPL draft. If you guys don't know what FPL draft is, it's this little purple tab that everyone seems to miss, but it's another game mode that FPL has introduced. Basically, I don't know if you're familiar with the NFL draft. It's basically you get different turns to pick, and then if you pick a player, another person cannot pick it. A little bit interesting as there's no kind of restrictions on budget and amount of players from a certain team. So you can kind of choose the whole Burnley team if you want. But you got to be aware that other people, if they have first pick, they're probably going to go for someone like Salah or Sterling. And if you go for the last picks, we're probably going to be getting the real, the bottom of the barrel players. I probably would be, if I had to be a football player, I probably would be there at the bottom. The 4 millions and those type of players. But I know you're probably wondering what the flip is going on with this draft. Well, I just finished recording my final team video. So I know you guys have been asking me, and I appreciate the continued support, but I know you've been asking me a lot about my final team. So I finished recording that video just before I went live. So that video will be out tomorrow. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So I hope that you can kind of understand why I'm not trying to spoil that video yet. I think that it's worth kind of saving the excitement for that video tomorrow. So don't worry, it will be dropping and you will be let known of any final changes before that game 1 week deadline. Or game week 1 deadline. Look at me, I can't even speak tonight. So let's go in the chat and see who of you are joining us live. We have MBG Polo, who is first. I might be incorrect, but you probably were first last week as well. You seem to be one of the notification squads. Thanks for hitting that bell and getting those notifications when I do go live. I really appreciate the support. We have Mason Warren. We have Playlist Story coming in again. I hope you liked my little shout out there of the Bournemouth triple up. I spoke about that in one of my latest videos. We've got FPL Boona here live. He is joining us in the draft. I hope you're ready to get absolutely demolished. Joking, we don't even know how it's going to turn out. You might get first pick and then I'm going to be eating my words. But nice to see you in the chat here, Boona. Hopefully you're not picking up too many insights into what I've been planning. I've been planning nothing, to be honest. We're going to be kind of free balling our picks. So I'm expecting our team to be absolutely dreadful. And it's probably going to even look worse than this current FPL team. But I'm looking forward to the draft and seeing how it's going to plan out. One thing to mention, it is Block FPL's draft. It's his league. I saw him on Twitter mention that he wants to do a draft. So I hit him up and I asked him if I could join. Brought Capkin Gaming in, you all know him. And then obviously FPL Boona's in it as well. Some other viewers of his are also joining us as we had to kind of fill some spots. But it should still be a great draft. We also have Croggy in chat. Dan in chat. XX Beast Gulper says he's second. Playlist Story says there's a couple of people who say they were first. Puppy saying Dayvy Wa. The EJJ, yeah, boys, can't wait for the league. I can't wait for it too. And honestly, guys, I'm excited. I was quite chilled towards the start of the week, but I can say that the FPL bug has bitten me, and I think it's just because of all the content that's been coming out. I've become massively excited for the start of the game week 1 deadline, and I think this FPL season is going to be an absolute banger, and I'm sure we're going to be doing well. A video dropped today, live stream tonight, and another video dropping tomorrow. I probably will be taking Friday off. I'm yet to I'm a little bit undecided on it, as there are a lot of other FPL content creators that are streaming on Friday. So I probably won't be able to compete with them. So you can go and watch their streams. I will, however, if there's any major changes, let you guys know. I'm probably not going to be uploading another video, as I don't think it's fair to you to kind of have a final team, then a final team, and then a final team, if you know what I'm saying. I don't want to milk you for views that much. So The video tomorrow will probably be my final team. However, there might be a couple changes as the transfer window hasn't even closed yet. Closes tomorrow night, and there've been some outrageous rumors today. David Luiz apparently training away from the squad in that Chelsea training today because he wants to try to force a move to Arsenal. There's just so many rumors currently happening that I don't honestly know what's going to happen. And as it always is towards the end of the season, it's kind of everyone is linked with everyone, and it's kind of agents just trying to get their players to get their new signing bonuses. I see Wilfried Zaha has handed in a transfer request apparently. He looks almost certain to try and force a move to Everton. A little bit of an interesting one there is I think that Everton, obviously not having Champions League football, is not probably his first choice, but I think they're the only team kind of in it for him. Yes, Josh W., this team, I just auto-selected it. I explained that my video is being posted tomorrow, so I didn't want to spoil the video for you guys, as I think that the anticipation of the final team is going to be well worth the wait. So don't worry about that. We have a couple questions and other people in chat. Fantasy Football Focus, a regular here on the stream. Nice to see you active again. We have some other people. Ben Baker, how's it, Dayvy? How are you? Josh, can't wait, man. Other people in chat, we have Arin saying, getting close to 11k, I see. As I said on my Twitter, we hit 4k followers today, so thanks a lot for if you follow me on Twitter. And as I said in that tweet, that I can't really keep up with the milestones we're hitting. I mean, if we hit 11k, then I probably will have to do another stream, hey. Stream on Friday, bro. I'll be watching. Thanks. If I might stream tomorrow, but I don't know. It just kind of depends on the day. In South Africa, they have blessed us with a public holiday. So we have the entire Friday off. No university, no school, no work. So a full day of preparing for FPL. I'm actually a little bit worried about Friday, as when there's more time to ponder decisions, the mind kind of wanders a little bit. So if you see Sanchez in my lineup come game week 1, just send me a message and be like, virtual slap, Dayvy, snap out of it. That is not what you should be doing, but I'm sure that it will be quite, the decision of my team will be quite thought out, and I'm sure you guys will discuss it and contemplate it quite a bit. So we have Zuma nailed in the chat. This is one of the things that I wanted to cover, is that if David Luiz does exit from Chelsea, it surely opens the door for Zuma to come into that squad. Along with Christensen, as long as Rudiger stays injured, it looks like he's going to be returning in a month's time. So until then, we can probably have a little bit of a budget Chelsea defender if that's what you want in your team. Arin saying, 1:30 in the morning here in Bangkok, but I still got to watch the Dayvy stream. Thanks a lot for the support. I really appreciate it. We have, is Pepe worth it? I think it's a little bit of a wait and see. I don't know if he's so far going to start game week 1, but that's going to be interesting to take a look. We have One Rovers Vlogs. Evening, Dayvy. How's it doing? I enjoyed your video that you uploaded. I think it was your video. I did rather enjoy it. I think you spoke about your predictions or something like that. So great video there. I enjoyed watching it. Kieran Brooks, hey David, do you think Perez and Pope will start the season? I think that Perez and Pope will start. Pope looks like he started the last preseason game, so that's kind of a given for me. My only worry about him is he does seem a little bit injury prone these days. So that's one to keep our eye on. We have FPL Boona again saying he's so hyped for the season. We have Anash saying, Captain Gaming, yes, I see all your vids and no knockout was headache for you last season. I think I'm going to might scroll up in chat. So Capkin says knockout is mine. I promise you, Capkin, you're going to get first pick and you're going to choose knockout, okay? You have to promise that, okay? We have Rahul saying, hey, Dayvy, your advice has been incredible. Many thanks. Looking forward to tomorrow. I appreciate the support, Rahul Patel. Glad that you could join us tonight. Zip, Zap, Zig saying, if you had to choose between King or Wilson, who would you choose? Wilson every day of the week. Unfortunately, he does come in a little bit more expensive, so that could be a little bit annoying. Runista is saying, what makes you so keen on Walker Peters, Dayvy? That move made no sense to me given other options. Didn't you address it in the last stream? So I just had Walker Peters, a little bit of a punt there. He was 5 million and I needed a 5 million defender. I didn't really trust anyone Other than him, you have players like Nathan Ake, but I'm not really going to choose a Bournemouth defender at 5 mil. So with Walker Peters, I just had him in there as a little bit of a punt. But now I see today that news has come out that he could be potentially on loan to Crystal Palace. So just be a little bit cautious about that one if you're going to be going for him. But I haven't considered him in my final draft as of yet. I didn't really think about him. I just thought that, in the moment when I made a draft on stream, I kind of looked at him and was like, that could be a good option or a little bit of a good punt. Samba saying, evening Dayvy, great content tonight, thanks, I appreciate it. And if you have not checked out the video I released a couple hours ago, go check it out. I cover my top tips for FPL this season. Hopefully you found some of them enjoyable, and hopefully some of them are informative. Carlo MAM12 saying Che Adams again. So I think that Che Adams could be a good option. I just don't know with Southampton's fixtures at the moment. If I had to go for a Southampton option, I would go for Danny Ings. It's just whether he can stay injury free. Kylo GG saying, hey Davey, knowing Pep likes a good rotation, we might see Angelino starting ahead of Zinchenko. It's something that we're just going to kind of have to think about a little bit. I think with Zinchenko, obviously with the community shield, a lot of people are kind of saying that he didn't handle Salah the best, but I mean Salah's one of the best attackers in the league. I think that obviously Pep, what a mistake there. Obviously think Pep trusts him because he plays him and it seems like he's trying to grow him into a player that he wants him to become. So I think Zinchenko's going to get the nod, but as soon as Mendy comes back, I think Mendy's going to just be too good to not put into that starting lineup. We have, how's it, Davey? How important do you think preseason form is going into game week 1? It's not the most important thing in the world, but it definitely does help if a player has been having a good preseason, as it's just the transition to the Premier League is a lot easier. One thing to remember is that in preseason, they're either playing easier teams or they're playing teams that are kind of still getting into the rhythm of things. So it could be considered easier opposition, but that's no disrespect to the teams people play in preseason. But as soon as the Premier League starts, you don't focus your attention to preseason anymore. You focus your attention to what happened in game week 1 or what happened in game week 2, for example. Nino saying, great video, thanks, I appreciate it. Kiran saying, Bernardo Silva, a good option. And then that also matches into a question with Jari saying, Bernardo Silva and Ashley Barnes or Sigurdsson and Fraser? I'd say Sigurdsson and Fraser. And then is Bernardo Silva a good option? Great player, but I don't think he's the best FPL option. I think that I don't think that he gets in the points as much, and he could be maybe the playmaker or the assister of the assist. I think we're going to kind of stick with the Sterlings and Agueros this kind of time of season. Faizan saying, Dayvy, best long-term forward this year. You probably have to go for Kane or Aubameyang if you're going to go very expensive. But if you had to go for someone a little bit cheaper, probably Wilson. Zalepo saying, final draft tomorrow. Yes, I'm dropping it tomorrow. I just finished recording it. Kylo, no worries. Thanks for asking your question. Darshil saying, King and Jota or Wilson and a cheap forward. If you're going to be going, there's no really cheaper alternatives. It depends how much cheaper you're going. But if you can't go any cheaper than about 5.5, then I would just stick with King and Jota, as that is probably a better thing than Wilson and a cheap attacker. Hey, dude, who do you think, Sig or Mora or Fraser? I'd probably go Sigurdsson. I think Mora is a little bit of a short-term punt, and I see that Spurs are still trying to make a lot of signings till the end of the season. So we have one Rover Vlog saying, I might triple captain Salah, Davey. What do you think? Look, I think that unless you are 100% keen on it, just maybe hold it till later on in the season. I just don't want you to get disappointed if Salah doesn't absolutely bang game week 1, and then you're going to be kind of almost depressed for the entire season because you're going to think you wasted your triple captain. So, but I said that in that top tips video that you don't have to use your triple captain on a double game week. Just use it on a certainty. So in my opinion, it's probably a certainty that Salah is going to score against Norwich. So in your mind, if that's enough to triple captain, then go for it. But I personally probably won't go for it. I probably am playing a little bit safe in that regard. But if you do it, I'm all up for it. I'll back you. FL Boona saying, give me Salah Law. I think that's going to be the first pick, to be honest. Unless someone in the draft kind of doesn't really know football that much and kind of just chooses someone that they know by name. Rio saying thoughts on Richarlison. I probably would have been a lot more keen on Richarlison if they didn't sign Keane. It's a little bit of wordplay there, Keane, if he didn't sign Keane. But I think that because Richarlison would probably be number one up front. So because they've signed this new Keane, I think that he will probably play that centre forward position, and then probably you're going to have Richarlison on the wings. So I always prefer a midfielder if they're playing up front, but I think that I would probably just go for Sigurdsson then, as he offers that assisting threat off the set pieces. Then we have Elite FPL. Hey Dayvy, how's it going, guys? And we also have Chaban saying, hey Dayvy, how's it? So but evening to both of you guys, Elite FPL and Chaban. And then we have a donation through Super Chat from Renista. I think that's how you say it. I apologize if I'm butchering it. He says, thanks, Dayvy. Very thorough answers. Appreciate it, ya bud. I appreciate you for donating. Thanks so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. Thanks for those £2. I really do appreciate it. Tyler Wheeler saying, why are Chelsea players being overlooked? Probably because they have Manchester United game week 1. And I don't know, that's how us humans kind of react. As soon as we see a danger fixture right in front of us, we kind of are put off a little bit by them. But I do think there are good options in Chelsea. The thing for me is I probably would go for Chelsea defense, and I don't think there's real certainty that they're going to be defensively sound this season. Apparently Frank Lampard's quite an attacking manager, so I'm going to have to monitor that situation. We have Clement Leroux saying, where Dayvy, hoe gaan het? I'm good and you, Clement. I hope you're doing well tonight. It's not too late for you. Luckily, we're on the same time zone there, so hope it's not too cold where you are. Kifion fan saying, great stream, bro. What is your opinion on one up front, particularly Wilson? I think that's perfectly fine. The budget forwards are a little bit lackluster if you're not going to kind of maybe double up on Wilson and King. So if there's no other options, you can kind of spread those funds in midfield. There are a couple of good, almost budget enablers, almost just worth the punts at 6 million, 6.5 and 5.5. So you can go for any of them, and that's not really a problem in my mind. We have Block FPL saying, should I go Adam Smith or Cathcart in my actual team? Also ready for this draft I'm about to win. Okay, we'll see in 38 game weeks time, but if you want to win tonight, then you can win tonight. But in all seriousness, should I go Adam Smith or Cathcart in my actual team? It's a tough one because I'm backing Bournemouth attack, but I'm not really backing Bournemouth defense. However, I think that Adam Smith, because sometimes he plays out of position on the wing position, you could just take a punt on him. I also don't really trust Watford that much, but I think that I trust them a little bit more defensively than Bournemouth. It's kind of a toss-up. I'd probably go Adam Smith, though. Playlist story saying Pulisic is being massively overlooked. I think it's just because he's new to the Premier League and we're going to assess how he's doing. I mean, his stats in the Bundesliga weren't that good. I think he scored 4 goals last season, where if you enter into a top 6 Premier League side, you're probably going to not think those stats are that good. But I do think that Chelsea basically have no other option than to play him. So you could take a punt on him if you want to, but probably there are safer picks like Lucas Moura at the same price. We have great troll team on screen from the Chrissy 95. I just kind of selected it as a random select as my final team is dropping tomorrow, so I don't want to spoil the surprise. Although it's not really a surprise, but I don't want to spoil the fun for you guys. We have Elite FPL Stevo saying, hey Davey, by the time you answer, we'll be streaming ourselves, lol. But would you get De Gea 4.5 defender or Pope and Wan-Bissaka? I would go Pope and Wan-Bissaka just because I always favor, if they're the same price as a goalkeeper and an outfield player, just go for the goalkeeper. I mean, go for the outfield player, sorry, my bad. Go for the outfield player because they have more attacking threat and they could just be a little bit more involved in the whole game than a goalkeeper. Poppy saying Chelsea is a top 4 Prem side. I just said that to be kind of PC and safe, that if they don't finish in the top 4, then nothing comes back on me that I predicted it. Henning saying, hey Dayvy and all, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you in the chat. The EJJ saying, keepers, Dayvy. I don't know if you're asking about any keepers or what keepers I kind of favor. Shintan saying, how's it, Dayvy? Would you go KDB plus Jota or Moura / Fraser plus Wilson? I would go Moura / Fraser plus Wilson. I would go Fraser and Wilson if you're not doubled up on that Bournemouth attack. Steve-O, glad to think we're thinking alike. We have Alan suggesting his team, saying Pope, Chambers. I can see that you're an Arsenal fan yet, not even by just your profile picture, by your actual team. The team looks good. I'm glad to see you taking up not even a punt on an Alba, but you just managed to squeeze them in. But otherwise, a solid team. If you're going to take a punt on Chambers, go for it. Otherwise, that would probably be who I would change. Harman Deep saying, Dayvy, please mention about Pereira. It looks like he's going to be back in that starting 11 for the weekend. He might have a sub appearance. It depends how he trains this week, but that was the last update. In terms of Pereira, you can probably go for him. Watford kind of start the season quite on the ball and sort of quite hot, so you could go for him. He's always in the mix of things, and he's a very skillful player, so I always do like him. But I just think that if you have the money to spend, then you might upgrade him. But if you don't, then just go for him. Alan, Dayvy, Boot, how's it? Where you from, bro? I'm from South Africa, if you probably couldn't tell. Will Spencer saying, how about Pookie, top scorer in the championship? I'm always just a little bit cautious about promoted players, as they sometimes always take a little bit of a struggle to get adjusted. And I think that with Pookie playing for Norwich, I think that I might take a punt on someone else instead at the same price. But at 6.5, I would probably go for someone like King or someone else like that instead of maybe. But if you want to take a punt and really go for a differential, kind of go for him. He's only owned by 3.3, so it might be worth it. Papa Smurf saying, thanks for the superb content, Dayvy. Is Laporte making your team back in training, I heard? I think that he might be a little bit expensive, and there's a little bit some cheaper alternatives to Laporte that could be better options. But I think if you have the money in your bank, you kind of have to go for him. He's probably going to be playing week in, week out, and I think he's probably the most set and forget Man City defender. I would recommend that you do have a Man City defender in your team. I know they might be a little bit more expensive than other options, but I think that Man City are really going to dominate again this season, and then we should kind of see their defensive form come out and their attacking form. So we have One Rovers vlog saying, what's your opinion on the new Everton striker Moise Keane? For the first game week, surely is better than Calvert-Lewin. 100% better than Calvert-Lewin, but I'm just a little bit cautious about whether he's going to start. He's come out and said that he wants to start in game week 1, but I also saw a comment that if any player came and said that they didn't want to start, you'd be a little bit worried. So I think that in the future, he's probably an option to look at. He's a great player. I loved watching him at Juventus. So I'm ready to jump on that bandwagon. And the thing that's nice about Everton's fixtures is they're pretty good until about game week 15, and then they're pretty bad. But for now, I mean, I'll take these fixtures any day of the week, especially for a side like Everton that have not only improved their squad, but also always have a little bit of defensive and attacking form. So we have Tear Lunatic saying, hello there, how's it doing, bud? Glad you could join us for tonight's stream. And we have a lot of chat about Lukaku being officially announced at Inter Milan. So that news is probably official there. I trust the stream chat that is fact and they're not kind of trolling me. But that is going to be quite a big move there at Man United then. I can definitely see that Rashford goes up front, and then we have some rotation between maybe Martial and him. The interesting one is probably Greenwood. I kind of am in the ballpark that he won't be starting that much. I think that he'll probably be saved for something like cup games. So I'm a little bit cautious about him, especially because of his ownership. He's quite well owned. Jean Paula, evening, Dayvy. How's it doing? Are you good? We have John saying, is KDB a must? I definitely like KDB, and he could be a great option this season, and maybe wait and see for tomorrow's final team video, and then you can see. We have Danny Ogeda, I think. Martial, question. Much love from Uganda. Thanks for joining us. We've got a wide variety of countries in the chat. Martial, it's an interesting one because I don't really know where he's going to be playing. I think that he might be playing on the wing because I think Rashford is almost set to start up front. But I think if Martial's guaranteed a spot in that United defense, then we can kind of look at it. But I think with that starting fixture against Chelsea, we have a little bit of time to adjust. Their fixtures aren't as good as we probably think. I mean, Chelsea at home and then Wolves away. We have enough time to kind of adjust and see what the starting lineup is. I mean, this man over here, Sanchez, might be playing for all we know. So I think with Man United options, we can kind of take a little bit of time. I think it's a little bit safer to go for their defensive options, as they look like they've kind of secured a lot in defense recently. I'm just going to take a look at the draft. Okay, we do have 4 minutes left. I don't want to be late to it, as I think that would be a little bit rude. Okay, so more chat. Ishmael Mahet is saying Gomez or Matip to start. I personally think, I've been saying it for quite a while, that I think that Matip will start, but the Community Shield kind of threw it all up in the air. The one thing that I will note is I can almost assure you that Gomez will be playing minutes every single game. So why I'm saying that is that you've seen with Liverpool, when they get a little bit comfortable defensively, they bring Gomez on for Trent Alexander-Arnold, so then his minutes get reduced, but he's also guaranteed a clean sheet. So I think the safe options are probably Van Dijk and Robbo. If you want to take a massive punch, you can go for Gomez or Matip, but I think that's a little bit too risky for me, and I think it's worth investing that more money in Robbo or Van Dijk. We've got the Football Wizards. How's it doing? Are you good? Thanks for joining us live in the chat. We've got Lukaku was the biggest FPL troll. I won't lie, I did have him at the start of the season when he did sign for Man United, and he went on a couple of double point hauls, so I wouldn't call him exactly a troll. I think he's just had a little bit of a hard time there at Man United. I think he 100% was a lot better at Everton. So we have Zig saying, nobody talking about Tielemans. Interesting thing about Leicester's, I've seen that they've trying to sign another midfielder for some reason. They have so many quality midfielders, but yet they're trying to sign more. I don't really understand that, but apparently it's a player that has played with Tielemans in that holding midfielder slot before. So we could look at him. For me, it's basically between Tielemans and Perez. I'm just favoring Perez a little bit, but Tielemans had great stats towards the end of last season, so you could look at him. JCCR saying Cancelo coming to Manchester City. When I did my previous stream, apparently this was breaking news and he was almost certain to join, but it seems like it's pitted out a little bit, and I don't know if he will be joining. That certainly gives us less of a rotation risk with players like Walker, because obviously Cancelo is a right back, if I'm correct. We have Notorious Nerd. Welcome to the chat again. Best defenders at 5 million and less. I would go for Taylor at Burnley. I would go for Gilbert from Aston Villa. I would maybe look at someone from the Brighton defense, such as, if you can squeeze the budget, Duffy. I think he comes in at 5.5. Or you can go for Dunk at 4.5. Montoya looks like a great option. Seems to be absolutely bombing down the wing there at that fullback slot. So you could go for him as well. And otherwise, there are a couple maybe promoted sides that you could go for, but I'm kind of focused on those three: Brighton, Burnley, or Aston Villa. Omkar saying, OMG, so excited. 1 minute and 18 seconds to go until we see who gets first pick. And if it's not me, I'm going to quit this draft and we're going to stop the stream. I'm just joking, but I will be quite disappointed if I don't get a couple, maybe one of the first 4 picks, because then I think most of the premium options are going to be kind of gone, and we're going to struggle a little bit to find a standout, almost captain option. However, I don't think that you can captain a player in draft, but I don't know. I played this once before with friends, but it was a complete disaster. I think I was the only one who turned up for draft day, and we ended up scrapping it. So this is actually my first official draft. Oh my goodness, I'm in 9 turns. Did I pick or not? No, I haven't picked. So this draft has started and JM has got first pick and I am 11th in this round. So that means that I am getting absolutely smashed on players. Guys, this is not looking good. I don't think our draft is going to be that great this year. But we'll be looking at it. Thanks a lot for all the good luck in chat. I'll be having you in the chat as well, so you can kind of comment any players that you think that I should be going for. But otherwise, it's not looking good, lads. and ladies, I have to just put that in. We do have a couple of ladies that do watch the channel, so you always appreciate it. Mazen Mohammed, do you think you can secure a top 10 this season? Top 10 in terms of in FPL, that will be quite crazy if I do finish in top 10 FPL. But in terms of my team that I support, Liverpool, I should hope that they finish top 10, as that will be quite bad. So it looks like Sam Jr. here is idle, so his picks will be going down in order. I don't know if you know this, but if you don't pick in this 130 minutes, then you kind of are stuck with whichever player is ranked here as the best in the next league. A couple of you are saying I laughed when you got 9th, but I actually got 11th, so it's even worse. So, but I think we have Block FPL picking here. He's picked Aubameyang, which is quite a good pick. Ulrich is gonna pick now. It's gonna be interesting to see her. I think this is. I don't think this is Boona. Okay, yeah, we have Capkin Gaming ready to make a pick. I want to see who he kind of goes for. So the players who have been picked is basically everyone that I wanted. But maybe we'll take a look. We still have 3 rounds to play, so you basically might as well just take all the good players out of here, guys. Don't worry about me. I'll just pick whoever. So we have Zahir Jafar picking now. Jackie NG picked Robertson. So I honestly don't know who I'm gonna pick here. I'm probably gonna have to contemplate it a little bit. Okay, so we still have Vardy. I think that's a solid pick. We can go for Wilson as well. Alex Arnold is still on the table, but I think that I'm going to start off with an attacker, and I think that I'm going to start off with Vardy. I don't think that that's a terrible pick, and I think that hopefully he gets the points and can remain injury-free this season, but we'll have to see. So I think I don't know if this is Boona. I think Boona might have got Kane because he's in chat being quite hyped. We are going to go down to the fodderest of fodder. Yeah, we're going to go down to some pretty budget options here. So Zahir Jafar looks like he is not at his computer. So you'll probably be going for Lacazette, which means that I could go for Son if he was available, but I don't think I'm going to be going for that right yet. I think that Vardy is pretty much locked in at this moment. I think that I'm going to probably opt for him. Papa Smurf saying, email address, please, Dayvy. If you go to my YouTube channel and go to About, I think that there's a business email there. You can reach me there. I get all the emails, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, but in terms of other players to pick, I don't really see anyone else here that is potentially desirable. We're going down the list quite a bit here to players that you probably haven't even heard of. For me, it's kind of between Son and Vardy, but I think that I'll probably go for Vardy in the end of it, as I think that the attacking slots are quite scarce, so Vardy will probably be my pick. So I'm just going to draft in Vardy there, as I don't really have any other choice. I do have quite a nice pick in the next round. I'm going in 2 turns, so I can probably manage to pick someone nice. Tim Tam does look like he is away from... He might be away from his computer, or he might just be deciding. But I'm definitely going for hopefully another premium option, as I am second in the pick. I could go for maybe TAA. He looks like a good option. Or potentially Van Dijk. I might actually go for Van Dijk over him. But yeah. I think Tim Tam's a little bit AFK. So he's probably going to be picking Son then. Because what happens if you're AFK, as I said, you go for the most highly rated next pick. So Son is out of it. I think that Pepe might fly under the radar because of just him being a new player and not really being that high up on this list. I think that might be a little bit too risky of a punt. A good punt that I saw there was go for Wilson. That's another player that I could potentially go for and should do well this season. I can probably fix it up with a budget defense then and kind of go a little bit top heavy. These people are lucky. You got Salah and Sterling, these two first people. Basically, if you do a draft with your friends and whatever, if you get first or second pick, you're basically going to guarantee to do well, as they are simply just too good. Okay, Tim Tam picked, I think someone picked Van Dijk, and then, he got 12th and then 11th, so he got 2 picks. So I actually can pick Son. He's suspended for 2 games, but that's fine. I can just maybe bench him for the first 2. Bahabani's saying you should have created a watch list, Dayvy. I probably should have, but whatevs. I kind of wanted to just free ball it a little bit here. But I think that I'm going to go for Son then. I think that that's a good pick for me. We have Zahir picking Sane, which is an interesting one. He is, sorry Buna for taking your Spurs, man. But you said that you got Kane, so you can't have them all, eh? So in terms of my next pick here, I've got 19 turns to go through. So in terms of who I'm going to be going for, it's probably going to be quite a while. So we probably have a little bit of time to discuss. So if you have any suggestions, drop them down in the comments and I'll be sure to look at them. So we have Yash saying Wilson, definitely on my radar. But as you can see, Jackie NG just picked Wilson. So I can't go for him now. But there are some other players that I could potentially go for in terms of probably some defenders. But a lot of them are kind of being picked out right now. We still have Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to be gone by the time I get my next pick. As you can see, Ahmed just picked him, so we've got some very bad luck here in suggesting players to pick. We have Captain Gaming picking Rashford, which is not a bad pick in my opinion. Rashford should have that centre forward spot there at United, so I can respect that pick from him. Going to see what Ulrich picks here now. Jimenez worth a shout? I think so. I just don't know if I'm going to be... the thing is, I forgot to mention, sorry about that, is that in this draft, it's a zombie team. So you have to pick a side that is going to last the whole season. You can't make any changes, which is actually why I wanted to do this draft, as it just kind of makes it a little bit more exciting and you have to do a little bit less maintenance on your team throughout the season when you have a sort of a draft like this. So Ulrich picked Fraser and Block FPL is going to be picking now, so I don't know what he's going to be taking a punt on. We have Captain Gaming saying what, so I don't really know what you exclaiming there. Maybe you picked someone, I don't know. I saw you picked Rashford and I said that was a good pick, so hopefully you're not ridiculing me thinking it was a good pick there. But in terms of players that kind of are starting to have good-looking drafts, JM has Salah, and I can't see his next pick. He's probably a little bit later on in the draft because he had first pick, so we're going to be having that. Yeah, Capkin, it's a zombie league, so you basically, you're the team you choose now will stay for the entire season. I don't know, your team is looking fine though, as I'm concerned. You have De Bruyne and you have... Damn, wanted to play the whole thing. Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to do another draft, then we can always do another draft just for you so that you don't, so that you are able to make transfers every single game week. So Chase Blocker, also known as Block FPL, picked Jimenez. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is kind of going to go down. Omkar, you can use waivers to get players who are not selected, but I think that Block FPL wants to kind of keep it that there's no transfers. But in terms of draft, I kind of think that it's best played where you pick a team and then you kind of stuck with it a little bit. And I mean, I think we have 12 players in this league. So it's not like we're going to be getting that great players towards the end. We're going to be getting players that kind of no one wants in their FPL squads. And we just simply have to pick them because of how many players are in this draft. Anurag saying, Captain, let's do one. So there you have your kind of player that can join you there, captain, in your draft league if you want. Raul saying Laporte. He's picked Laporte, so that's quite a good pick. Let's see what Brittany has to pick. I think, okay, Jesus is not a bad pick. The minutes might be a little bit questionable there. But, I mean, if it's a team for the whole season, you're not really worried about who's going to be in the lineup and who won't be. We have Jay Marturano. My pick's only in 11 turns, so as I said, we're going to be waiting here for a little bit. So if you have any suggestions on players that we can do, then put it down in the comments. We'll kind of do this draft team together, and then we'll all reap the rewards if we win it at the end. So the player's taking a little bit of time here. I can understand it. There's quite a lot of contemplation that there has to go into this draft, as you never want to kind of make a bad pick. Okay, someone picked Pepe, so sorry, Sammy and Fantasy Football Focus and Yash. He's unfortunately gone out of selection, so I can't really go for him. Aguero guaranteed 20 goals every season, says Notorious Nerd. Very true, and definitely one to look out for. Sam Jr. picked Eriksson, and then Brittany picked Milo from Crystal Palace. I have not had a pick in forever. It seems that I'm kind of being left out to dry here. Block FPL having another pick, so it's almost like I was skipped, but I'm not. I still have my Vardy and my Sonia. We're going to see Block FPL picks. Kind of a lot of players going here. The one player that I could maybe go for is Bernardo Silva, after saying that he's probably not the best option to go for. In terms of defense, I probably should maybe get a good kind of centre back. As you can see, all the main ones have been taken. We have the likes of Alexander-Arnold being taken. I can't really see Van Dijk was taken. Okay. So another player that I could probably go for is a player in defense. But you'll see with these drafts is kind of the defenses are left towards the end. A lot of people go for kind of the best players in attack first and then kind of make their decisions on whoever they want. So in terms of other players that I could maybe go for, I don't really know, to be honest. There are a couple of ones that if you know what I'm saying, there's players here that are fine, but they're not players that I would probably go for in normal FPL. So you think 12 teams is hard, try a 16-teamer. Very challenging to draft, I can imagine. That's probably quite crazy. You've probably really scraped the barrel of players there. We have Capkin up again with his third pick or fourth pick, I do believe. So going to be interesting to see he's gone for. The newly signed Haller has gone out of the squad. So y'all took Wilson and Fraser. I can promise you that it was not me, Block. I have just picked Vardy and Son and am awaiting my next pick. You guys seem to be having a lot of fun without me here with the top picks. I'm just quietly waiting my turn in the corner. Alexander Robertson, unfortunately, they've already been taken. Yash with a good suggestion of Edison. I think that I might go for someone like... I'm probably not going to say I'm going to go for, as someone might take them, but maybe a little bit similar to Edison. That's actually a good thing to have as a keeper that can almost guarantee you clean sheets for a long time. And now we wait for Ahmed to make his pick. Capkin picked Zaha, an interesting one. I wonder if Capkin would rather have him at Crystal Palace or at Everton, or maybe even at another Premier League side. Gianpaolo Block does love Bournemouth. He even has listed that he's a supporter of Bournemouth. But he's just mentioned that it's because they're going to be getting so many points for him this season. So Ahmed picked Edison there. So that's a good pick mentioned in the chat. We have Jackie next up. And then I think that I'm not next. I'm the one afterwards. So we're going to kind of take a look at who we can sign. Probably going to be signing a newly promoted player at the rate of how things are going. But currently they are still the Chelsea options up front. It's just kind of a little bit of an option to who you think is going to start off. We have players like Lukaku. If someone goes for, that's probably an instant regret there, as it looks like he's just been sold. However, he's not been updated on the Premier League website, so that could be a trap for someone to fall into. We then have players like Maddison, who's still available, along with Felipe Anderson. You can go for Sanchez. You can even go for King if you want. Shaqiri. That's a little bit of a differential there from Liverpool. But it does look like Jackie has made a pick. So Zahir picked Lukaku, which, as I told you, is one of the reasons why you kind of get your draft going, because he has now landed up with Lukaku, a player that has just been sold. So the player that I think that I'm going to go for is a Walker. I think this is probably a good option to go for, as my defense is not looking that great. So I think I'm going to go for Walker. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think that since Edison was taken and Laporte have been taken, and I don't really want to take a punt on Zinchenko for the entire season, I think that I'm going to go for Walker. Should be a set starter, and hopefully goes into the squad. If Cancelo does get signed, then that could be an option. But I don't think Cancelo. I have to kind of eliminate the risks here, and I'm just going to go for Walker, as I think that pick is fine. We have Tim Tam picking Wood there, another great pick. And now I can pick again. So who should I go for? Finally, we got some turns on our shoulder. A player that I might go for is Alisson. Alisson is still up for grabs here. Bernardo was taken, I think. So, yeah, Bernardo Silva has gone. So I think I'm probably going to be going for Alisson. I think Alisson's a solid pick, especially because a lot of players have got Liverpool defense in their squads. So Edison was taken. Sigurdsson's also been taken. So I'm going to just draft in Alisson. I'm pretty happy with that pick, as he should be getting me lots of points throughout the season. So Zahir picked Mahrez, and then Jota has also gone. Yeah, I'm 21 next pick, so 16 turns time, but it seems like we're kind of picking up a little bit of pace. I think a lot of players are going to kind of just pick whoever they see first on that list, as it's kind of not worth doing the research into the who and who's in and who's out type of thing. There's still a couple of decent players on offer here. Capkin Gaming up next. We can kind of see what he's going for. I like this kind of spine of our team. We have Alisson, Walker, Son, and Vardy. Not a bad position to be in. We're going to see what Capkin goes for. I think Capkin's going to pick... he hasn't picked Knockout yet. He has to go and pick Knockout. He even said so. He has joined Fulham on loan until the end of the season, but he's expected back on the 1st of July, probably 2020. So he has to go for Knockout. He's still available. Oh, he picked Wan-Bissaka. Come on, Capkin. You kind of have to go for Knockout. He probably will pick Knockout as his final pick, actually. It's going to be banter. Janice, you can play draft with friends. That you can. It's actually best to play with friends. Just make sure you have responsible friends. Because as I said, I once played it with my friends, and I was the only one who pitched up to draft day. So, not pitched up, but I was the only one online at draft day, and then the whole draft was basically simulated. So just make sure that they're responsible and they pitch up, because then it's a lot of fun. As you can see now, it's actually quite nice. Now, how's it going, bruv? Nice to see you in the chat. I appreciate it. Get a mid next. Yeah, I probably will go for a mid unless there's a centre forward that I particularly like. But in terms of this, I'm kind of going for out there picks. So Ulrich has picked Perez, who was someone that I was potentially looking at. Should be a good option at Leicester this season. But there are some other options unavailable, like David Silva there. It should be quite a nice pick if you do manage to pick him up. You can take a little bit of a punt on Ozil if you think that he's going to get a lot of minutes. And obviously there's like all the Chelsea players that you can go for. Basil saying heard Tierney will be a deadline day signing. That is true. We're just doing this draft now, as I don't think we could have done it any time else. But that would be a good signing. I do think that hopefully Arsenal sign another player at centre-back, as their defence is looking quite shoddy. Capkin saying, can you swap your players around that you have? I don't really know. Yes, you can do substitutions. I don't think there is captaincy, but you can swap your players around if you want to. David Luiz to Chelsea. I think you probably mean David Luiz to Arsenal. That could be a good option. Jay Manturano has picked Azpilicueta, and he also is getting first pick this round, so he's getting a little bit of a double whammy there. Excuse me there. Captain, yeah, just no transfers. You can do substitutions as much as you want, but other than that, you kind of have to stick with your team. You just can't make any transfers. So it's quite chilled. Like, you can just make, yes, as it's a zombie league, exactly. Block FPL will probably be able to tell you a little bit more about the whole draft saga, as he's a little bit more in tune with it. I'm just kind of joining today. I'm just streaming it because I wanted to stream it, as I thought that would be quite an interesting stream to do. Mendy gone yet? He's not gone, but I don't know if I'm willing to take a risk on Mendy at this point. I just don't know, because he's quite injury prone, that I don't want to have a player for the entire season and then he kind of gets injured straight after he comes back. Obviously, Son's a little bit different because he's just suspended for the first 2 games. Newton M saying, can we pick a draft team on a smartphone? You can indeed. I don't think it's that kind of strategic that you have to do it on a computer. I think it's just a lot easier to do it on your computer, as you can kind of access the data a lot easier and more quickly. Luke Shaw or Maguire, in my opinion, could also go Pulisic. That could be an option to go for. It's kind of a little bit tough to almost judge the players, because we're almost left with people that no one wants, or people that are a little bit under the radar, like Pulisic, as we just don't really know much about him. Maguire is a good shout. You could go from Nahal. Is the FPL app out? It is out, and I think it has been overhauled with a new interface, so you can go check that out if you want to. Captain Gaming chose Lloris, and then we're going to see what Ahmed picks now. These teams are probably going to be, as you can look here, the first page is kind of alright, but as soon as we start dipping into the lower half, we kind of turn a little bit bad. There are some players here that you can potentially keep your eyes on, the likes of some Chelsea options and the likes of some, and then Maguire is transferred out, so all your guys' suggestions are very good, as every time you mention them, they go out. So that's quite good. Okay, now we got our pick, lads and ladies. Who should we go for? We could go for someone like, I'm personally kind of looking a little bit towards Pulisic. I think that he could maybe be a good option to go for. Richarlison could be another option. Let me check if he's on. So Richarlison has been transferred out, which is a little bit of a pity. I'm trying to look here at other players that could potentially kind of give us some good points. The one player that I was kind of looking at was Tielemans, but I think that I probably will go for Pulisic. Abrahams could be a good option. I just don't know who's going to be starting up front. I think that I'm just going to go for Pulisic. Should be a good option. And now we have another pick that we can go for. So I think in this pick that I'm going to go for, Tielemans was already picked. There's literally no players here. I think I'm going to try and look for a midfielder. Felipe Anderson maybe is a good option. I think that will be fine. I think Felipe Anderson will probably be my next shot here. In terms of other players, I could maybe squeeze in the likes of an Abraham or that kind of thing. But I think probably with Felipe Anderson, it's a little bit more of a safety kind of net. So I think I'm going to draft in Anderson. And now we wait again for my next turn. So this has been quite a strenuous process. So thanks to all of you guys that have stuck with me through this stream. I know there's a couple of people that have probably left, as it might be a little bit boring, but I'm trying to keep it as interesting as possible. I think it's going to be quite interesting now to kind of see who people pick, because there's not that many great options. Is it public, Dayvy? Hi, by the way, how are you doing? It's not a public league, it's a private league. Block FPL set it up, so that could be quite good. FPL Buna dropping some hot news. They're saying Camarasa to Palace on loan confirmed, so that could be a good option there. Obviously, he's not added into this draft right now. He'll probably be added into FPL tomorrow, but that looks like a good move for Palace there. I think they still need to sign a couple of centre backs to really kind of get back into the swing of things as they did last season. I think they might struggle with Wan-Bissaka leaving. Umka, it's nearly 1 a.m. in India, but it's not at all boring. I appreciate you watching late at night, and thanks for saying it's not boring. I really appreciate the support. Wesley Kenny saying Greenwood or Jota. Are you asking me a question, or are you trying to suggest a pick here? Because those could be good options. In terms of if you're trying to select them for your team, I would go for Jota. I'm exhausted by the public league. Not many players. Yeah, the thing is, for these drafts, you kind of have to get a group of friends to play with you, and then it's absolutely a load of fun, and it's nice to see at the end of the day what teams you kind of come up with. Zaki saying, Dayvy, your opinion on Robertson? Could be a good option, but I'm a little bit cautious about newly promoted players. I know that he is playing at centre forward, so it could be a nice player to take a punt with, but I think it could be a little bit of a wait and see, in my opinion. And the thing is, even if he does increase in price, you probably are not going to be paying that extra, as in terms of the price point he's at, it's almost fine to bench him if you need so. So as you can see that the Chelsea strikers are going quite badly. It seems that no one's kind of assured on who's going to be starting and everything. Going to be starting or whatever, so it could be quite nice to almost go for one of them. Nashu, you can send your team for review. Because we have so much time, I might as well do a couple of reviews. We see Block FPL picking Redmond there, the Southampton forward. It was playing more like a centre forward last season. It seems to be one of their main men and scorers. We have some more chat from me, Marriott, saying, hey, rate my team: De Gea, Zinchenko, TAA, Evans, Digne, Sterling, KDB, Perez, Kane, Wilson. Great team, looks quite good. Obviously does not have Salah, but if that's what you're going for, then you can go for that if your heart so desires. But in terms of maybe some changes you could do, maybe take Evans out and bring someone maybe a little bit cheaper so you can upgrade in other departments. But otherwise it looks fine and looks good. Quite top heavy with those Kane and Wilson pairing, but I like it. And it's quite different to teams I've seen. Would you prefer set and forget a 6 million keeper or two 4.5s? I would probably a set and forget 6 mil keeper, but I don't know if I would spend 6 mil on a keeper. Maybe push it to a 5.5 at most. Dayvy, who are you choosing next on this? Says David Brooks. If that's the real David Brooks, welcome, but otherwise also welcome to you. I don't really know, as I can't really pick who I'm going to be picking, because I'm only in 10 turns time. So probably a player that I go for is going to be snapped up before I can even think of transferring him into this draft. Van Gogh saying, can you rate my team? Yup, send it in chat and I'll take a look at it. Adam Andrews, any changes, Dayvy, to the original teams or to other ones? Okay, Nashu saying, Ryan, TAA, Van Dijk, Digne, Dunk, Salah, KDB, Sterling, Barkley, Sigurdsson, King. It looks good. Double up on the Liverpool defense with Digne, Salah, KDB, Sterling, Barkley, Sigurdsson. I like the team. It looks good. I think it's fine to have one centre forward in that slot. Siobhan, Pope, Robbo, TAA, Zinchenko, Digne, Fraser, Perez, Sterling, Salah, Wilson, Jota. That also looks good. I think that it's nice to have the double up of Fraser and Wilson in your squad, and you've also managed to squeeze in Sterling and Salah with a double up on the Liverpool defense. So solid team. Ishmael saying, please rate my team: Henderson, Robertson, Van Dijk, Stones, Mora, KDB, Sterling, Wilson, Firmino. Only thing I would probably say is WBK. I don't know who that is. So maybe just correct me on there. I'm a little bit unsure. Hudson Odoi, that could be a good punt, but I think he might be injured. King gone already. He probably is. There's King, the Leicester Andy King that we all want. No, I'm joking. Wilson and King are both gone from the draft, so a little bit disappointing then. Brittany's picked Mendy, and we are still not up for a pick. I think that's what I was going to say. I was going to say Wan-Bissaka, but I always see him as AWB. So that's a solid team then. Wan-Bissaka should be a good option for your side. Will Liverpool keep a clean sheet against Norwich and captain Salah? I think they will. You kind of have to bet on them taking a clean sheet, as I don't really think if they can't keep a clean sheet versus Norwich, then I don't think you can count on them to get a clean sheet against many other teams, as Norwich is probably one of the weaker sides having been promoted. And captain Salah, for me, I think that you kind of have to captain Salah for game week 1. You could go for Sterling as a little bit of a differential, but if Salah scores a hat-trick, you might be in a little bit of trouble. We have Block FPL up to pick. Boona picking Kepa there. Solid keeper pick there. Surprised that he's gone under the radar. What do you think of Kyle Walker-Peters, mate? I think that for a little bit of a punt, one or two game weeks, you probably only be taking one game week as they have City in the second game week. It's fine as he's 5 million, can easily be transferred out to a cheap alternative. So as long as you have a plan of kind of how you're going to deal with him, then I'm pretty sure it's not that bad of a transfer. One thing I wanted to note was, who do you think will partner Maguire in centre-back for Manchester United? Because that's someone that I could go for. I could go for whoever you think will partner, because Smalling and Lindelof are up, and I'm pretty sure Jones will be as well. So if you think... So Fantasy Football Focus dropping in chat that Man City just signed new right back Cancelo. That'll be quite interesting to take a look at. So that is probably 100% confirmed then, because I generally trust Fantasy Football Focus. So just drop in chat if it is 100% confirmed, because that will probably change quite a lot of people's teams. So in terms of options we have here, we can kind of go for Sanchez, Batshuayi, Alonso. Is Emerson still up? So Emerson is still up, and I don't know if it's worth taking a punt on him, as he could be an option this season. If he does win that spot. Kane for captain. Thanks, bud. 100%. Okay, so that's a pretty insane signing, as he's quite attacking. So that should provide some rotation there for Walker if he does play at right back. In terms of other options I could go for, maybe Murray. There's not that great. There's not many players that I think will stand out here. So I think I might just take a punt on Emerson and try and maybe see if they do well this season, Chelsea. I could go for Ings or Murray. That is a good option, but probably will leave them for a little bit of a later stage. So I'm going to just transfer in Emerson. And I do have another transfer now. So in terms of who else should I maybe get in? Boom, 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 boom. Che Adams, actually, I think that is a good shout. I think that I'll go for Che Adams as an option. It's a little bit of a punt there, but I think that I'm happy to maybe transfer him and just take a little bit of a punt on him this season, and hopefully he does well. Nice pick. Or you did. There's quite a couple people that suggested it. You're revealing your final team now. I'm revealing it in a video. I'm revealing it in a video tomorrow. I'm dropping that, so stay tuned for that. And I also will be confirming the team on Friday before the deadline, so you don't have to worry about that. So we do have confirmation that Cancelo has signed with City. Okay, that is a very interesting signing, and almost that defense looks quite rotation wary. Maybe Laporte is the only player that probably won't be at risk of getting kind of rotated. So Danilo's gone the other way, says Fantasy Football Focus. So that to me means that Cancelo will rival Walker in that right back spot. And maybe Zinchenko is the one to go for, as with Mendy out, he could be a good option. So I'm asked up your views on Barkley. I said in my video of kind of the best FPL preseason players that if you kind of want to go for a good option in defense, or not in defense, in midfield as a little bit of a punt, as he is quite cheap, then I would go for Barkley. Any guesses at Cancelo's price? I think he probably will be 5.5, as that will rival the other defenders a little bit, and you're probably not 100% sure if Cancelo is going to win that spot. So that could be a little bit of an interesting option there. So I've seen this in chat now, and a couple of people are saying it. Walker at centre back. Now I don't know if that is something that Man City have tried out or something, or whatever. But I don't really see him as a centre back. But maybe I'm completely wrong in that regard. Sorry, I just had to take a drink of water there. So we do have block picking Zinchenko. So quite an interesting pick there. Looks like a punt for me, as I don't know if Zinchenko is going to be nailed for that spot for the entire season. But I think it's worth taking a punt at this late stage in the game, especially with the players that are on offer. So Leon saying Walker always plays centre back at England. Yeah, but that's in the back three. If I'm not correct, I think they play a back three in the England squad, whereas I think City play a back four. So in a back three, I can understand him playing as a centre back, but I don't know if it's exactly going to translate to the Man City formation. Dark Knight saying, sorry, I'm late. Target my cheap defender. Thoughts, Dayvy? I think that's a great shout. Aston Villa, Brighton, and Burnley are kind of going to be the options that I would go for in that cheap kind of price bracket. So I don't have a problem with that. Guardiola plays a back three when Mendy is available. I remember that, and that's why Mendy was such a good option, as he was just so attacking and getting into that final third so often. I don't know if you remember, but I had him in game week 1 and 2, and I think he scored back-to-back 15-pointers. So great option there, and I can highly recommend once Mendy comes back that we bring him in our sides. Is Gilbert still up, Dayvy? He is, so that's kind of someone that I'm saving for one of my later picks. I think that he'll be a good shout to go for. We have Brittany picking Joelinton, which is the new signing for Newcastle. So quite a nice little shout there to go for him. And obviously she's expecting him to do well there at Newcastle. Probably a similar style to hopefully how Rondon and Perez did. They ended up picking up a lot of goals towards the end of the season. Matt saying, thoughts on Firmino? Is he being overlooked? I think he's being overlooked, but also you probably have a lot of better other Liverpool options than Firmino, and he is a little bit pricey, so you could go for someone else like Vardy in that sort of price bracket. So that's a good thing. Boona saying Duffy, so he picked Duffy. That's a little bit of an interesting one there, a Boona. Almost. So you actually did pick Duffy. Look, if you have to get centre backs or if you have to get a defender in your squad, then by no means transfer him in. Me Marriott saying, love these live streams, by the way, thumbs up. Thanks a lot. And that reminds me, if you have not dropped a like on the live stream, I'd appreciate it. It would mean a lot, and it kind of gets, I don't know if it gets it up by that much, but kind of on the recommended page kind of will get it up a little bit. But as you can see, we're still 12 turns in, but it looks like Sam Jr. is away from his keyboard, which makes him idle. So that hopefully will speed the process up a little bit. No worries, Matt. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. What is the best defense that you can use? I don't know if you mean in terms of complete budget, then probably double Liverpool, double City, and then an Everton defender. Private league code for my mini league, I think I know it off by heart. I think it's BDFI35. If it is that, or if you've just joined someone's random league, I apologize, but I do think it is BDFI35. You can just go watch any of the videos and you will see it on the intro to those. Snodgrass or El Ghazi, thanks. I'll probably go for El Ghazi. He should win that spot. Aston Villa should play him on the wing, so that could be Haller could be a good option. In terms of the draft, he has been picked, but in terms of FPL, if you want him for your normal team, that could be an option. A little bit of a punt there, but I think that might be a little bit of a wait and see, especially because he has Man City on the first the first game week. So we are more than halfway through my team. We have 8 out of 15 players here. Brittany's just gone and picked Sanchez. So there are still these gems like Trossard, so I could go for him. Prince, I'd probably go for Lundstrom in that case, as he is cheaper and should be playing out of position. But otherwise, if you want a 4.5 defender, I would go for Taylor. He's kind of my choice for 4.5. And now we are in 7 turns time. We were 11th this round, so that means that we're going to be getting almost a back-to-back pick. So that will be quite exciting. So we probably can get some nice players then. There's not that many great ones going around right now. You can see Block FPL pick Townsend, which is a good shout considering how late it is in this draft. Brooks would have probably been one that went quite a lot quicker. We do have a punt like Chamberlain or Keita. Iwobi might be on his way out. Apparently Everton made a bid for him. We have Danny Ings as well still available. Players like Lamela. Rodriguez just signed for Burnley this pre-season, so could go for him. But otherwise, we're getting quite desperate as we go down the ranks here. I think that what I might do is I might just transfer in a big punt and then kind of just hope he does well. It's going to be interesting to see the teams at the end of this draft, as it could be quite fun. So we are picking now. Let's kind of see who we can go for here. I think Redmond's already been picked. I might go for a player like what's the player's name for Aston Villa. I always forget his name. Maybe he's already been picked here, but I don't know. I could go for Gilbert, but I was talking about the attacker. Okay, so Wesley has been drafted already. In terms of other options, I might go for... I'm a little bit stumped here. I might just go for someone that I think will hopefully do well in my lineup, but I don't really know if they're going to be doing as great as I expect them to. I could go for Deeney, maybe Grealish. I'm seeing those suggestions in chat. I think that who I'm going to go for is going to be... I think I'm going to go for Stones. Yeah. That's quite a weird pick there, but now we can kind of go for... I think Yotta's probably already been picked, eh? Yeah, unless you're talking about the Aston Villa one. But in terms of other players, I could go for Pereira maybe. That could be a good option. I think he's been left a little bit long. I think I'm going to go for Pereira. He should be good. Now we are 19 picks again. So we seem to be getting quite lucky with our picks later on, but then we kind of are waiting for these long kind of interjections between the different player picks. But thanks for sticking out through the stream, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope that it hasn't been too kind of low energy. I've kind of tried to keep it quite hyped. So we have Jackie picking Zuma, which is someone that we were kind of looking at to pick. Could be a great shot, especially if David Luiz does make the move to Arsenal, as then it will kind of almost guarantee his spot in that starting lineup. I think as long as Rudiger comes back and replaces Christensen, Zuma's a great option. And I personally think that Zuma is a little bit favored than the likes of Christensen. I think he's a little bit more solid, so we could be looking at someone like him for our FPL teams, but obviously not for the draft as he has already been picked. In terms of other players we could go for, Alderweireld has already been taken. We could go for someone like Aurier or Sanchez. Danny Rose has been picked. So I don't really know if we're kind of scraping the barrel a little bit here in terms of of who we bring in. Emerson has been chosen already. I think basically most of the top 4 teams' defenses have already been kind of swallowed up. We still have Gomez from Liverpool, which is an interesting option, and Matip has been taken. So I might just take a little bit of a punt on Gomez as he is still available. Lingard is also probably a good option, and otherwise you're kind of taking a punt on game time for all the others. Lanzini, let's check if Lanzini is still available. So Lanzini is taken. Basically, sorry, I misread that in chat. I have Emerson in my squad. I don't have him, so that's why he's not in the draft. Playlist Story is saying Man City have played back 3 before, but rarely. I can understand that. I think they kind of stick with a back 4. So in terms of picks, they are kind of narrowing down a little bit here. Al Mohammadi, maybe let's check him. So Al Mohammadi could be a good option. I just think that maybe someone else might be a little bit better, as the newly promoted teams are sometimes a little bit not that trustworthy. Simon saying, right now I have 5 defenders with 1 weak, 1 dunk. Is it worth having 1 weak defender, or should I swap TAA and Robertson to Robertson and Van Dijk to get Ake? Look, I don't think Dunk is a particularly bad option. I think that it's always worth to have one cheaper alternative just to kind of spread your budget a little bit, and I think a strong back 4 is completely fine. I think that Dunk, as being a 4.5 and because he plays, that should be sufficient, and you don't have to worry about downgrading one of your other premium options to someone that you don't like. So we are narrowly kind of finishing the draft here. I think most people are going to kind of wrap up their picks a little bit, because we are almost ending with players that we probably won't even be playing. So hopefully people make some picks here, and then we can kind of take a look at how our team looks. Maitland-Niles from Arsenal could be a good shout there. We also have Sir Rasta Mouse AVFC. Villa fan here. Al Mohammadi won't start. Our fullbacks will be Target and Gilbert. That's someone that I was looking at for my actual FPL team, was Gilbert. He seems like a good attacking option. Nahal saying Calvert-Lewin. I don't really know if I'll be going for Calvert-Lewin because of Keane signing for them. So I think that Keane will probably be the first choice there. Taylor from Burnley or Aston Villa. Taylor from Burnley. That's kind of who I prefer. As you can see here, so Taylor from Burnley is who I prefer. But if Aston Villa, if the player does play for Aston Villa and starts for them, he could also be a good shout. But I think, as Sir Rastamal says, that he's probably the best person to ask about Aston Villa. He says that the fullbacks will be Target and Gilbert. So if Taylor is a centre back, then you could opt for him. Dayvy, I am keen on 3-5-2 lineup. Which is your preferred lineup? I think currently I'm on a 4-4-2, so that could be something to kind of opt for if you're looking at it. Ward Prowse, I could opt for him. He's still available, not that badly ranked in the draft rank as well. You can pick up Brooks. He will not be injured for the whole season. That is true. But I think that I'm kind of better off choosing someone else's. Brooks has become a little bit injury prone, so I'm just a little bit worried about his fitness throughout the season. I could maybe go for Lingard. I think that he should be playing if Man United don't sign a replacement midfielder. So let's check. Someone's asking if James from Man United has not been taken. Brooks is an injury magnet. That is true. Didn't they just say Wilson from Liverpool to replace Brooks. Wilson is potentially going to replace Brooks, but I think that once Brooks comes back, because he is Bournemouth's own player, he will definitely probably be starting in front of Wilson. I think Wilson is just on loan there to kind of get a little bit of minutes, and I think Bournemouth were a little bit stressed about Brooks's injury. So Abuna saying, I have no idea why I'm going so big on Villa mids. I think it's probably because they're the only ones that we have to kind of pick from now. Wesley or Greenwood, who would you pick? Thanks, I would pick Wesley. You can pick yourself there, Wesley Kenny. We are 5 picks away from choosing our next player. And then we're probably going to be back again with another pick quite quickly on. So that is going to be quite nice. Capkin Gaming has picked Gomez. So that could be a good shout there. Ahmed is going to pick now. And then we are on 3 turns time. So get those suggestions down in the comments, because we'll be having a double whammy coming up. We'll be having 2 picks right after each other, basically. So get who you think will hopefully be doing well this season, and I can put it in the lineup. Is Lundstrom taken? He's probably not taken, but I don't know if I would opt for him. There probably are other options here. Obviously, there's no budget, so I could go for him. So the player I'm going to go for is James from Man United. I'm hoping that he starts on that right or left wing. So I'm going for James as my first pick, and then I can pick another option. So my midfield is full. I can go for either a forward or a defender. Let's check what forwards are available right now, as they could probably make for some easier decisions to be made. There's not that much great. There are not that many great options here. And I think that I might just have to kind of take a punt on one of them. If I had to take a punt on one of these players, it probably would be... It's either between Gray or McBurney. I don't think Coutron's going to be getting many minutes, and with Austin as well. So who would you pick out of Gray or McBurney? Calvert-Lewin or Jota? Wood is already taken, so I think I probably would go for Gray. I think that he should start. Actually, you could go for Benteke. Actually, that might be a good shot. They haven't signed a good replacement centre forward, so I think I'm gonna go for Benteke. Yeah, I might as well. In terms of now, I can kind of fill up my defense a little bit here, and hopefully we get some nice players in. Why you don't pick Salah or Sterling? Martin asks. I wish that I could pick them, Martin, but unfortunately I did not get first or second pick, so I was quite low in the rankings, and I had to kind of end up with some bad players for my first pick. I don't really know who in this draft got the players that we all wanted, but as you know, in drafts you can't really pick a player that has been picked by someone else. How's it, Bud? I had Kane, Sterling, and Salah, but I dropped Sterling for De Bruyne to strengthen my defense and midfield. What do you think about De Bruyne? I think he's going to be a good option this season. You might just have to be a little bit patient with him, as he might start off a little bit slow. Dunk or Duffy available? I think they are both gone. Dunk is still available, so I could go for him, but I probably will be looking at so both Taylors are available, and you can even see Tarkowski is still available. Mina might be a starter, but I think he's got a gambling ban or something for doing an advert in a foreign sector on gambling. And we have Capkin Gaming with the knockout pick. At least he stuck to his word. We have a moment of history and draft. Capkin has chosen a player that is not available to play, but just for pure banter. What a player. Well done, Capkin. I'm proud of you. David Copot saying, what do you think about Zinchenko now? Will he play? Cancelo just joined. I believe Cancelo is a right back, where Zinchenko is a left back. So I don't think Cancelo will offer that much competition. But I think as soon as Mendy is back, then Zinchenko will lose his spot. Shaw from Newcastle could be an option. I just don't know if Newcastle are going to be that defensively strong this season, but definitely one to kind of look out for. I don't know if they're going to be, with their new manager, Steve Bruce, I think they're going to lose a little bit of defensive form especially at the moment Richie is injured. So actually Richie has already been taken by someone. So is Jota a good FPL player? Yes, he is. He's actually my favorite Wolves player. Mohammed saying he just deleted the comment, so I can't read it. I was just about to take a look at it. Enigma saying thoughts on Barkley. I think he's cheap enough to take a punt for. So Rasta Mouse is saying Matt Ritchie, he has unfortunately been picked already. Delph, he's registered as a defender, but I think he's injured at the moment, which is a little bit annoying. Is Zinchenko a good choice? I think he's a good choice at the start of the season, but towards the end of the season, he's going to be losing his place to Mendy. Holobus, I could go for Holobus, actually, that is a good shout. He's a yellow card magnet, though, so I might have to rethink that one. In terms of defenders, yeah, we have a couple that could be potential options. I think it's probably between Shaw and Holobus at the moment. Comment who you think, who would you pick, Holobus or Shaw? And then whoever kind of gets the most votes, I'll put them in the team. This one will be for the viewers. We also have some Southampton players that could potentially be quite good. Obviously, won't pick Danilo as he's on his way out. Foyth could be another one after them selling Trippier. They he could win a spot then that kind of left or right back spot. In terms of other options, there's not many that I would kind of look at. So we have a couple Shaw, we have a couple Holobus. It looks like we have more Holobus than it looks like we have a lot. Actually, no, now we're probably tied for who to kind of take. Looks like Holobus. I would go Enigma TV saying King or Wilson. I would go Wilson. Socrates is great value for money if Luis joins. Let's check if he's still available. He is still available, so I could go for him. But I don't know if I trust that Arsenal defense. Holobus, no Benitez at Newcastle anymore. That is true, which is probably swaying me a little bit towards Holobus. And I think a lot of you are saying Holobus more. So we have a shot for Stevens from Sheffield United. I could make him like my final pick. That would probably be quite nice to kind of end off with a pick that is not that popular. Holobus, just because I'm a Watford fan, says Michael Hazel. So at least you can kind of get someone in there. We've got Taylor from Burnley still available. He is their second place. So he could be also a great option there. But I think maybe Holobus, just from the attacking threat a little bit, I would probably prefer him a little bit more. But yeah, so we're in 10 turns time and we're actually going to be getting 2 picks. So we probably can pick Shaw and Holobus at the same time. And that will be quite nice for the side. And then we'll only need one more player left and then the draft will be done. So get your comments about players that you potentially think I can look at. I know there's been some shots for some ones that I've rejected. We have Aaron's. He is also still available. I read that he is quite attacking and could be a good option. Should we pick players that assigned to the spot kicks because of VAR? I think that it's always a safer option to go for a player that does have that in their arsenal of taking free kicks. But in terms of if it's a prerequisite, no, you don't have to go for a player that takes spot kicks, especially if they're not an attacking player to start off with. You have a player like Milo from Crystal Palace who basically just relies on penalty kicks to get points. So you could go for someone that is a little bit out there and a little bit more of an option. FPL Buna saying, actually pretty happy with my team balance. I'm happy for you. I don't think my team is that great, but maybe when I see other people's teams, then I will maybe think a little bit differently. I think if you had Salah or Sterling in your lineup, then you're going to be laughing to the bank at the moment. But Boona, I think, even got Kane, so that is also a great shout there. We got Captain Gaming with his next pick. Let's take a look at who he picked. He picked João Moutinho. That is also not a bad pick. I think he plays CDM there for Wolves, so not the most attacking pick, but also still a great one. Todd Carlson saying, yo, what's up? How's it, Todd? Thanks for joining us. Sorry that you probably missed most of the stream. Evans is not available, Yash. McTominay, I can't pick a midfielder because I can only pick 2 defenders and I can pick a goalkeeper. So I probably will be going for 2 defenders, and then we'll be going for just a set, a little bit of a cheap whoever goalkeeper, as we have Alisson starting already. Enigma saying Moro Sigurdsson. I would go for Siggy. Thoughts on Kevin Walker-Peters? A great option for the starting couple game weeks, but I'm going to kind of wait and see as I think that Man City fixture is a little bit off-putting. Thoughts on Ibe? Worth a punt, as he's quite cheap and Brooks is injured, but I think that with Harry Wilson now being involved in that squad, you might have a little bit of rotation there. Delph could be out of position if he becomes nailed. Yes, I think he will play in midfield. So, Evans is there. Where's... I'm on Chelsea, my bad. Evans is here, so I'll go pick Evans. And we have a super chat from Yanks 250125 with the $1 donation. Thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. So basically, I think the picks are going to be Evans. Let's actually check if Pereira is here or even Chilwell. Okay, so both of those are gone. So I think we'll go for Evans. That should be a good pick. Evans, draft him in, and then we have another draft, and then I'm just going to go, okay, so Holebas was taken, so that kind of leaves Shaw up for the taking, so I will opt for him, and then we only need one more pick. So thanks again, Yanks, for the $1 donation. I really appreciate it. So we're kind of ending almost the stream on an hour and a half here. It's almost approaching the hour and a half of actual talking, because obviously the 5 minutes before was just to kind of get you guys a little bit hyped. So we're going to be getting our last pick in here, and we're going to be choosing a goalkeeper that could probably be anyone. So this is basically like what the lineup's going to kind of get. I think everyone's going to be basically picking a goalkeeper in this one, and then we will be seeing what squads kind of go on with. Hamon saying, I don't listen to your opinion in my squad. I probably didn't see your message, so if you post it again, I can look at it. Michael saying it's pronounced share, by the way. Okay, I've just heard a lot of people say Shaw, so... Todd said, did you show your team you're going with the stream or making a video? I already made the video. It's going to be releasing tomorrow. Fantasy Football Focus saying Farman. That could also be a good shout to go for. Someone has just picked Gilbert. I think FPL Boona, so that's also a great shout to go for there. Enigma TV asking me when I'm wildcarding. I don't know. It's simply going to be too far in the future probably for me to kind of check and see who's going to be in my wild card. So I'll probably only use it situationally and when I need so. Nice stream. Thanks, Fantasy Football Focus. I appreciate you joining in and supporting throughout. Pope or Dean Henderson? I would probably go Pope. Is the video of your releasing tomorrow with your team going to be affected by this Cancelo signing? It might be, actually. I actually don't know what to... I do have a Man City defender in there, so I don't know if it's going to impact them that much. But that can be an easy change, and I'll probably just drop a comment in the comments down below and just say, sorry that I made this video before Cancelo signed. So any changes. Everton signed Sidibe, so that's a major game changer there. If you do or own Coleman, then you could probably opt for Digne instead. He's probably worth the money in that case. In terms of goalkeeper, I just think I'm going to pick any old goalkeeper. Yeah, we have Alisson in defense, so he's going to be probably playing the whole time. Dylan Birdie, are you releasing your team tomorrow? I am releasing my team tomorrow. The EJJ, how many times have you rewatched Liverpool Barca, Dayvy? Too many times, to be honest. Certainly the highlights. They're probably my favorite highlights of all time, and I have been watching Liverpool for basically my whole life. So you're lucky if you got to witness that game. Chris Quirk saying, I want Cancelo when he joins. Fernandinho has mentioned he will be deployed at centre-back at times. Also think Walker may move to centre-back. I think that Walker will move to centre-back if they play a back 3. But I think if they play a back 2, it's probably going to be Stones and Laporte. So we have 10 turns left before we finalise our team. It seems that people are taking a little bit long to choose which goalkeeper to go for. So I'm kind of happy that we managed to squeeze Alisson out of the selected players. Who's the most consistent West Ham striker on FPL? It's going to be their new player, Haller. Cheers, Dylan. Thanks for joining into the stream. I appreciate it. And thanks for the compliment. Hamo is saying, what do you think in Rashford in start of the season? I think he should be a good option. I think he's going to have that centre forward spot nailed down. So you can't really go wrong with picking him, as he will be getting the game time and hopefully the goals. Is Joe Gomez a bargain? Has Klopp got his preferred centre-back pairing now? I honestly don't know. I thought that I had it nailed. I thought that Matip was going to be pairing Van Dijk, but it doesn't seem like that at all. It seems like probably Gomez might be playing a couple games, but as I said, I think Gomez will be getting minutes no matter what, whether he comes on at centre-back or if he comes on and replaces Trent Alexander-Arnold. Triple Bournemouth attack, 2 inflexible Dayvy despite the fixtures. I think that it's not that inflexible, especially you probably have King, Wilson and Fraser can easily be downgraded to Perez or Tielemans or Lucas Moura if you have to. And King you're probably going to stick with because he's budget, and Wilson is kind of in a nice price bracket. So you probably can have triple to start off with and then transfer out Fraser. And it's also nice to have those 3 as you can kind of assess who's going to be the chosen one. What do you think will be the biggest score win? Tottenham versus Aston Villa or Liverpool versus Norwich? I think it's going to be Liverpool versus Norwich. I think that Spurs versus Aston Villa is going to have goals in it though. Is Matt Ryan a good option? I think he is, especially the fact that you can have an 8.5 kind of combo with Button and Ryan up in your defense. Saint Seba saying, in Dayvy we trust. Hopefully that trust is rewarded and we have a great season. I'm leaning towards Kian. What do you think? I think that could be a good option to go for. And anything is kind of worth taking a punt for if you're willing to go for it. I think that Kian might not start game week 1, but he's definitely going to start game week 2. So you can kind of just hold on for him. Even if he is benched and comes on later, he could nick something. So we have 4 turns left. Capkin Gaming with his last decision to make. We are at 4 turns time, so that will be quite good. A great stream, Dayvy, again, well done. Fancy doing a draft myself now. I hope you guys do enjoy it. Moyes, Keane and Fraser, or Sigurdsson and King. I'd probably go Sigurdsson and King. Aguero, thoughts probably overlooked, but I think that he's going to have some limited minutes in FPL this season. I think that those 60-minute appearances last season were a sign of things to come, and I think that he's still going to do quite well, but I think that Sterling will probably just be a little bit of a better pick. And narrowing the end of this draft, and now it is my pick. I am the final pick of this draft, so let's see who we're going to go for. I think let's go for someone that is a complete meme. Although there are some nice picks here, I can go for the solid 4 pick Button here. In terms of other options, I don't think that there's that many to go for. I think most of the main starters have been picked. So I probably will I'll just go for Hennessy to be safe. And that is the draft completed. So let's go and take a look at our lineup. I think if I had to set this lineup up for game week 1, probably would have Evans in there with Benteke on the bench. And then Felipe Anderson, I'm fine with that home fixture. And then that's probably going to be our team summed up. Not that bad of a draft here. It looks quite good. And if we go home and we go to this team, hopefully we can take a look at the other teams in the draft. But I don't know if we will. Okay, we are. So we can take a look. Actually, we can't. So unfortunately, I can't take a look at any other people's teams. But I'm sure that they are looking a lot better than mine. So that is actually right. I should take out Son. Thanks a lot for that one. But as you can see, you can't choose a captain or anything. So this is going to be my team that we've landed up with. Alisson, Walker, Evans, Stones, James, Pereira, Felipe Anderson, Pulisic, Benteke, Vardy and Adams. On the bench, Hennessy, Son, Emerson and Shaw. Not a bad team to start off the draft with. Unfortunately, I can't load in any other people's drafts, so we can't see and finalize them. But I hope you have enjoyed this draft. Thanks to all of you who joined. Special shout out to FPL Boona, Capkin Gaming, and finally to Block FPL for organizing this. Hope you guys have enjoyed this stream. I know it's been quite a long one and hopefully not that much of a boring one, but I just wanted to cover this draft and give you guys a little bit of a variation on the normal FPL content we have. But otherwise, please go check out the other videos we have and look forward to the team dropping tomorrow. We're going to have the final team, and I hope you guys are hyped for it and hyped for the start of the FPL season. But otherwise, I'm going to be ending the stream here. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks for all the support you've shown me. As I said, it was a long stream, so thanks to all of you that have pitched in from start to finish. I'm going to be signing off right now. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.